on? What's up?
Yo, has it ever been cold in St. Joe?
Mm-hmm. No.
It's cold here.
Yeah. What is it there? 40?
16.
It's 14 here.
Yeah. At least we have no snow.
Ours is going to melt today. It's going to be like 37 or 30 today, and then it's going to like warm up. Pretty much be spring, I'm hoping.
Yep. Next week, it looks like grass will start turning green and getting growing.
You're going to have to do some work, bub. You can't.
I'm gonna have to work for once
anymore. Yeah.
Instead of playing with records. I don't know.
You see my record player? Did I send you a picture of it?
I know what you're gonna get.
See it?
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I can see it now. You need to hang that painting up.
Which one?
The desert one. Yeah.
This one?
Uh-huh.
Hanging stuff up here is weird because it's like everything's either like concrete or it's
I
don't know.
Windows. You have so many windows and stuff
Yeah.
too. It's like there's no really room to put stuff on the walls. Hi Ella, how's it going? I usually watch her auctions, just sitting there watching.
My comments on. So I did something different today. I did like a little fasting morning. I didn't eat any breakfast today, and I literally just got my coffee. I took a quick shower and slept in. Felt good.
Yeah,
I haven't done that in like a long time.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing anything in the morning because I usually try to get up and like get on the treadmill and like do stuff before this. And I was like, I'm getting up with just enough time to get up, take a quick shower, and make coffee. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. I do that like every other day now as I fast the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Won't even eat till afternoon. A lot of times in the afternoon, I'm like, I have my coffee. I'm like, I'm not hungry now. So I just wait for dinner.
Yeah. Morning, Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
So I'm just going to wait. I might do like breakfast for lunch or I may just skip it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of played as it goes. A lot of times you realize you're like, I wasn't really hungry. I just eat every morning, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Isn't it funny too that like you always love sleeping in and you can't? And I know I've never slept in and now I can and I don't.
Yeah, that's actually the funny thing that happened. I woke up at 7 something. I was like, seriously? Like I even took a Benadryl last night so I wouldn't wake up early.
Right.
I'd be like, it could be a struggle for me to wake up. 7 o'clock. I was like, ching. Then I had so I fell back asleep for a minute. I had the weirdest dream. I had a dream I was a doctor. What is that? Seriously. Remember I was telling you about weird dreams all week. Yeah. I had a dream last night. I was a doctor in an ER, and a guy came in and like he was like shot in the back, and I was trying to operate on him, and he wouldn't let me. And I was like, we both ended up crying in the dream. Yeah.
No, that's a weird dream.
I don't know what I ate before I went to bed, but I kind of want to eat it again tonight. You know what I'm saying?
I've always wanted to play doctor, but in a private setting.
Like I was literally the ER doc with like the white coat and everything, and I have no interest in that whatsoever, ever. And I was literally like working on this guy,
crying together.
Like, how would you have a dream doing a job? You have no idea what you're doing, and you're actually doing the job. I mean, you have dreams before where you're like around people, or it's like a sensual dream, or you're doing something you did that day. It's all normal stuff, but to have a dream where you're doing a job that you couldn't do, it's almost like a movie or something. Like I got teleported into someone else's life.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What was the show? Quantum Leap. Yeah.
Yes, I heard they're coming back out with that.
Really?
He's going to be part of the show too, but not the main character, of course. It's my favorite movie, or favorite TV series of all time. Just because it was always like a different setting. It was always cool. You go to a different time frame, you know. So it was like always.
What did he always say something when he got there? Like Oh boy, or like was it
Yeah,
a thing?
yeah. I think it was Oh Boy, because he would like be dancing with the coconut on his head in like a dress. He's like, oh crap.
Yeah, like it shouldn't have been a surprise after like 5 years of the show.
Yeah,
But like,
exactly.
oh, this is weird. What's happening now?
He kept acting surprised. Well, he kept thinking he's gonna go home or whatever it
But
was.
yeah.
And every time he was like, oh, well, I guess I'm going home.
So what was the storyline with that? I don't remember. Like,
It was something, since I was so
why?
young,
Why
those
did he
emotional
have to do
things don't set with you the same way.
Mhm.
But I think it was something to do with his son. He lost his son. He was trying to get back to it or lost his wife. And he had to do this job before they could do that or something, if I remember right. Of course, I'm so right about most things. Hey, Gina.
You were a doctor in an ER? Because my dream was more exhausting than your dream. Tell us about your dream. I'm kidding. Tell us your dream, Tracy. What was it? The whole thing. Type it out.
We can send you the link. You can come on and tell us. We didn't really want to do anything today anyway.
Dreams this Saturday.
Man, this last spring I had so many crazy dreams. It was, I don't even know what to say.
I mean, how cool would it be, seriously, if they literally could come out and prove dreams were like just way more than what we know of them as,
It was the actual reality.
They've proved you're actually in another realm. So, like, oh my god,
it's actually the real realm. This is fake.
Yeah, they proved it.
Yeah, this is a simulation.
Yeah, you barely remember what happens when you're there. And it wasn't just like flat Earth type stuff. Like they genuinely proved it, and you were like scared to go to sleep because you didn't know where you're going to go.
Right. I don't want to go back to Russia again.
Yeah. Spicy food and tomato sauce gives me crazy dreams. Yeah, I'm gonna eat some chorizo tonight before I go to bed. Going back in. Something interesting is gonna happen. I can feel it.
That's hilarious.
Tracy put ... Nope, not telling.
Do some sriracha ice cream before you go to bed.
Did you ever take a bunch of that Alpha Brain before you went to bed? Because remember they were saying that would give you crazy dreams.
No,
I did. I tried it. It didn't work. I was seriously disappointed.
I'd say you would try it.
I was like, yeah. Ooh.
What a rush.
Yeah. I only use dollar bills though to snort it. I'm not that high end. No, they said if you take like an extra thing of that Alpha Brain, you'd have like crazy dreams. And I think I took 2 of them one night right before I went to bed.
I couldn't even take a full one of those things. It like makes me nauseous every time.
Mm-hmm. I did solve the problem of fuel prices though while I was sleeping. So
excellent.
No weird dreams though.
Can you elaborate on how you solved this?
I forgot.
Nuclear power?
I ran out and I forgot.
I wrote it down. Oh, that's funny. It is the Morning Onion, so we should talk about politics, right?
Yeah.
News.
Government and religion. What do you want to start with?
Let's mix them together.
Racism.
Who should we cancel this weekend?
Oh gosh, that's funny.
$3.99. It's $3.79 here. What is it? What is it in St. Joe?
I think it was $3.79 last time I looked.
Yeah. Isn't it funny though? Like we were talking about yesterday, like it goes back to marketing and what's in our face. Like we wouldn't give a crap about gas prices if it wasn't put up on a sign in red because it hasn't gone up as much as food's gone up.
Have you ever you go to the gas station, like you pull off the highway and it's actually not what it says it is on the sign. It's actually more.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they do
that.
I
had time to change it. I'm like, it's electronic.
But I wonder if they do it on purpose or if it's just like some kid working there just don't care and he's not paying attention and like it changed and then no one told him. If it's really like innocent or they're genuinely trying to.
Right.
Or it's probably both, actually.
Well, remember when we were kids, like every gas station had a different price. And now like the entire town is the exact same price. I'm like, okay, that's rude.
Tracy, you moving back to McPherson? You miss it?
Got to move back to Kansas.
Yeah, got to get back. I got to get back to Kansas.
It's just, you never heard anybody say those words. I need to get back there. It's such a great summer. No.
Yeah.
So great in the spring. No.
Summer's there by the feedlots. Oh.
Between fall and winter, there's like 2 weeks. It's pretty awesome in Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's moving. She moved somewhere else in Texas. I'm not exactly sure where. Internet installation. Oh, gosh, that'd be nice. We're so used to internet now. It's weird to think that not have internet, you know?
Isn't it everywhere? It's in the air now, isn't it?
Sure, but
weird though. Like
plug it in.
You think back when we were in high school, like you had to run a wire to everything. Now the internet's just in the air. It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
But you still have to pay for it. We'll send it to you.
We'll hand deliver it to you. So it's
we'll turn it on and then it'll be in the air. You can use it whenever you want. Right.
It's like that Elon Musk. He's like putting all those satellites in space so you can use the internet from space, and they're like putting it in a lower orbit so it doesn't mess up the signal or whatever. But I guess that's helping in Ukraine because a lot of those people can't get a lot of those places that are like that. They can't get internet, so they can actually get it from Elon Musk. It's like, that's interesting. I never really thought about it.
Tracy moved to, is it Bastrop? Is that how you say that?
Backstrap? No, Bastrop. Bastrop.
Backstrap?
I love backstraps. They're my favorite.
Oh my God. Back fat. Bastrap. Is that a suburb? Yeah, I guess I can just look it up.
Suburb.
Suburb.
I knew she used to live in Austin, and then Joe Rogan brought millions of people there, so I'm sure she loves Rogan.
I'll look it up for you, Tracy. You don't have to tell us. We're gonna look up your address real quick and give it out on the internet.
You order stuff from her. You order stuff from her eBay store just so you know her return address.
I need to return this. This doesn't work. I'll bring it to you. I'll just bring it back. It looks like it's southeast of Austin a little bit. I don't know about it. Maybe an hour, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll be going down to Dallas in a couple weeks. Visit my parents moving into their new house.
That's cool. It's good they can bring you down and do some work.
Yeah. Actually, it's a brand new house, so I'm hoping to just show up and enjoy it.
Isn't that funny? Like, I need to take off work to your boss. And you're like, what are you going to do? Work for free? I don't hate Kansas. What did she
say? You realize Texas hasn't even been a state that long. So it used to like be its own country. It's kind of weird down there.
Still living in the 50s. Yeah, rockabilly. That's true. Rockabilly started in Texas, and it's still the rockabilly 45s from the Texas groups are still the most sought after vinyl records to get. If you get a Sun record of like Johnny Cash, certain ones worth like $4,000. It's crazy. And I know a guy that old, I buy old records. I've seen him pick those up for like 50 cents. A $4,000 record. Oh man, open house. I bet if you did an open house anymore, it's insane.
People come in and just offering you like 30% more than what
it's supposed to. They're just bringing in briefcases of cash. Can I do it now? No.
It's funny. I hear people now, they're like buying cars and houses and building houses. And I think, do you have to do that right now? Because this seems like the worst time ever to do that. Unless if you need to, I get it. But like just for fun, it just seems like I would just wait a year or something to see if things get better. Because it seems like.
Well, I've heard people talk about the supply chain is so bad that like, you have almost the whole house done, but you have to wait a year for gutters. It's like,
I got a buddy he's been building a house. He transferred to the same terminal I'm at like a month after I did. He's been building a house since then and it's not done. And he's like living in the basement or something. And it's like his whole contractor was like trying to screw him over, and they were like billing stuff that was like triple what it should be. And the bank caught him and all this stuff. And it's like half done. And I'm just like thinking,
oh my God,
dude, it's been such a weird few years. It just seems like the worst time to like build or buy any big things, unless you are just, I don't know.
It's
really
need
to. just have a bunch of. It's a good time to sell.
Exactly. It's like when everybody was making fun of me for selling all my sports cards when everything was so high. I'm like, yeah, because they're going to go down. Like, it's just the way it is. I got out as fast as I could at all my big high end stuff. And I'm glad I did because now it's bottomed out again. And it's also, too, because it's the in between seasons. But man, you got to sell when it's hot. And the worst time to ever buy, like Bitcoin, all those people. Like, well, I'm finally going all in. They bought in at 60,000. You know, it's like, well, you can't afford to do anything for years.
Have you been following that too? What's going on with it? The government's starting to regulate it. Like, I don't know if they already did or if it's this month or next month, but the government has stepped in and they have passed like laws and legislation stuff that they're going to start regulating it. So the whole game's going to change on all of that stuff.
Well, I've always said that. I'm like,
into it because I don't know that much about it, but I do know that it's about to take a weird turn, probably.
Right. Well, the only thing I used to always think about is like, okay, well, first off, if there's ever a company that comes out with something that's similar, I mean, that makes yours worth nothing if they know they can go somewhere else. And unless you're changing Bitcoin for Bitcoin, you're still part of the system. If you're changing Bitcoin for money, you're still part of the system. And eventually the government can go, well, you're not going to get money for that Bitcoin. You know?
Yeah, I think I brought this up the other day. Have you ever went anywhere where you could even or bought or sold anything where you had the option to use Bitcoin as a transaction?
I don't think I have, but I wouldn't have looked for it. It may have been there.
I don't understand it that well, but I've never even seen a thing pop up and say, did you want to use Bitcoin or any of that
right
cryptocurrency?
You remember that? I don't know if you've ever watched the videos, that billionaire named Pena, really hard guy. Used to be an ex-cop in Southern California, I think it was. He's he comes off as kind of like just really crass. It's just really mean, but he's like just being honest a lot of times. He goes, don't ever invest in Bitcoin. He goes, I actually know. And this is a guy that just doesn't lie because he doesn't need to. He's a billionaire. And he says some things that you're just like, can't believe that guy actually said that. He's like, I know who created Bitcoin. And he goes, if everybody knew who created Bitcoin, you would be selling it as fast as you could possibly sell it. He's like, there's a reason why you don't know who it is.
Who created it?
He wouldn't say. But he's just saying, he goes, if you knew who it was, you wouldn't be investing in him, in that person. And I thought it just interesting.
I feel like once there's a thing like Bitcoin and you hear about it, and if you're not already in on it, it's too late.
That's exactly right.
I feel like there's other things where you're like, it's early. I don't want to miss a comment from Keyline there. I forget her first name. What's Keyline's first name?
Gina.
Yeah, Gina. I want to know what she means by that. I don't know if she's being joking or if it's something serious. I think she says it was sarcasm. Anyway, I was just saying, once you you're in on something new and you're like, man, is this going to be the next big thing? Or is this just nothing? And then it's like, that's where that's where the risk is. And you make the decision whether you're going to win or lose with it. But if it's all the hype, it's already too late.
Yep. That's like when Gary Vee
for 10 years or however many years it's been around. It's like, you thinking about Bitcoin? Like, no, you missed the boat, bud.
Yeah. It's like NFTs and Gary Vee, when he started talking about how he's buying sports cards, I knew that was time to sell because everybody was going to jump in, and they did, even like big high investors. And so at that point, if you hadn't already invested, you were already screwed.
I feel like, let's see, who's not sure if it's vintage? What's that guy's name? You know?
Not sure if it's vintage. I forget his first name.
He says he wants the housing market to crash. Yeah.
A lot of people do.
I'm surprised, or I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't with everything that's going on right now.
It's like we were talking about the other day. It's like, poor people say it's inflation. Rich people are like, yay, it's making assessing my house is going up in value. There's it's the same thing, but you can use it two different ways because if you're not invested, it sure sucks when inflation goes up, but that's what you hope happens when you own a house.
Yeah.
So,
so, Gina, what do you mean by your comment a minute ago? If you're still listening,
I think she said she was smidge.
I know she was being sarcastic, but I don't know when it came in. Probably after we said something. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Kyle. What's up, Kyle? So I actually do have a reselling question I wanted to ask the chat today, but I was going to wait until we're 20 minutes in. That's probably a good time.
Might as well.
So here's the question for you guys. Me and Anthony talked about this week. I'm curious what you guys do. I'm going to lose my voice right as I go ahead and ask this question. What do you guys do when you have just as an example, like if you had 20 video games, would you do 20 separate listings, or would you do less listings and do multiple variations inside of them? Like as an example, Anthony sells records, and I was suggesting or asking him why he doesn't do like a multiple variation listing and list 10 records of a certain genre inside that, or if he just lists each one individually. And I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Do you guys think you get better visibility on eBay or with like multiple listings, or doing a multi-listing variation? Go.
I bet a lot of people don't do multi.
Probably not. I was thinking about it this morning, and I was thinking that because I feel a lot of times when I go to one that has a bunch inside of it, I'm just like, man, I don't know. You just feel like you're buying from a store, or like I feel like I actually feel like a lot of people could do just one listing and put all their stuff inside one listing, because the price changes when you make a selection on which item you want to bring up.
Well, I think it's not a bad idea for me with my records, because I have so many repeat customers and people that want that same item. And people all the time is like, okay, because I'll send them a thing, check my store, but they still have to go search through my store looking for what they want. If it's
Kyle,
right in front of them,
not all the same game. I mean, like if you were selling like PlayStation games or Wii games, and you had 50 of them or 20 of them or whatever, would you do one listing and put all of them inside that as a variation, or would you list each one individually?
The problem with that would be the keywords. If you had too many keywords, then you would have stuff that wouldn't get found.
Right.
But if it was very similar to the same thing, it wouldn't. I don't know.
But I see that, and I'm just curious what other people do. I agree. I actually think you should do individual ones, but it is a lot more work. And there are people that have like games where they just have Wii games or general words in the title, and then they have just pictures of like hundreds of games, and then you can go into the drop down and select which game you want, and then when you do that, it populates with the price.
Right.
But I agree. I actually think you should do probably individually, but it's actually a lot more work. I mean, think how much time you could cut out if you didn't have to take pictures of every single game and do a single post for every game. But I still think you'd get better visibility by posting them individually.
And I think it just depends on what you're selling. When it comes to eBay, everybody has this like way of doing everything. I think there's a base that you really have to do for eBay, but then it just kind of depends on the genre.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like for me, like with the 45s, a lot of them come with a picture sleeve. They want to see the picture sleeve. That's what sells it. And so if I can't sell them on that picture sleeve, then I may not sell as many. So it may be less work, but you still may not sell as much. So it would just depend. But it'd be fun to try just to see what you could get out of it, kind of deal. For me, at least what I do. And that might be hard to keep straight. If you're selling sports cards, you might sell the wrong. I don't know. I ought to try it just to see. Because I do like it. I do like the what do you call it? The multi-variation listings. When I go to buy stuff on eBay, when I go to look for shipping supplies, it's nice to go to that same buyer, and I can order my 6x10 poly bags, and I can order my 8x12s, and so I can knock it out real quick from his store. Boom, 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 and I know he's usually the cheapest price. So I can see that could be a benefit for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn.
Morning, Glenn.
Hi, Shay. How's it going? And that's another one too. The games, they went from like being so popular to just dying. I have sealed Xbox One games, that Star Wars, that are good games that I can't sell for $15. Like I don't like. It's just strange.
So I think Kyle said a minute ago that games were harder to do by genre than music. That's a good point, but you could also do games by like what
Well, yeah, I think you can do action games and then like just
Or
Nintendo or
yeah, no, I meant
Mario.
I couldn't think of the name. If you could just do like Wii games and do Nintendo 64 or each different one.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that only want to do Wii and they don't want to search through all your PlayStation games to get to the Wii games. I could see that being a benefit. But if you're just selling like clothes, I don't know if that'd be a real bit. Well, it'd be a benefit because you show that you have. I have a large, extra large, and because that's
Yeah.
one thing I've been doing is I actually look at my store like a store now. Like I might pay a little extra for some Bob Marley because I don't have a lot of reggae in my store.
Mhm.
I kind of want to be able to hit everybody's genre in a way. So
Right.
I'm trying to make my store as good as I can. And I'll have duplicate now. I'm getting to where I have duplicates and I'll even draft them ready to go once the other one sells.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. Which is a benefit.
Kyle's dropping a lot of good comments on there. Make sure you put them up. He's responding to that a lot. Get it done there, bub.
Yeah, I end up anymore. I'm going to start lotting up my games. I actually get better money for them at my booth. So I'm going to start taking on a bunch of my video games.
It's weird how well they sold when everybody was stuck at home, and now everyone's just like, yeah.
Yep. And they were getting into the older stuff like, well, I'm home. I can only play my Xbox One so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he mean by that? Set it to go out of stock and then change the photos? Oh, it's a multi-listing variation, so it goes out of stock, so the listing stays on there, but then he goes in and just updates the quantities and changes photos. Is that what you mean?
That's smart to do. That way you showing that it's like the last one, so people are thinking it is the last one. I don't know how that'd be illegal. Sounds smart to me.
I don't know how that's illegal though, because I mean, maybe it is. I see a lot of people that have done it, but I've also seen a lot of people that have sold a couple of the things I got dinged for, and I was shocked, like the earbuds.
Yeah.
They said they looked too much like AirPods, and I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. They looked like AirPods, and
I think that if you bring them into your listing, I think it could do okay. The multi-listing. I think it just really depends on what you're selling and what's hot at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if video games back a year and a half ago, that'd have been a great idea. Now it's
One problem is though that you would definitely get into with doing that is like the shipping stuff. You'd have to have all kinds of like the shipping, what do you call it? The instructions that adjust the shipping as you go. Because if somebody went in and ordered like 20 games from you, and then it would be a pain. Like with you the other day with your order, you end up charging them $100 for shipping, or you end up charging them $8 for shipping, and it's going to cost you $50 to ship what they ordered. So
yep.
you'd have to do a lot of work getting that coordinated to where there was like, all this stuff was set up to make it charge correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I don't think it's illegal. I know a guy that does it for shipping supplies and he's got like 6,000 reviews. So I think they're letting him do it. And he's the best prices on eBay for supplies.
I had a vintage jukebox once. My dad gave it away for no reason. Thanks, bud.
I actually hope he's watching.
Yeah. Let me just go ahead and tell that story. So my dad.
Oh, sorry. That was. Yeah. There's a lot of people that order for me that have jukeboxes. And the good thing about jukeboxes for me is there's only 200 slots in most of them. And so people are looking for new ones all the time that are better, that they can put in and leave. And like I just put up a AC/DC that's got You Shook Me All Night Long on the A side. On the B side, it has Have a Drink on Me, which actually B-side song is probably better than You Shook Me All Night Long, but everybody knows that one. But to get a 45 that has two really good songs on it, it really helps those jukebox people because then it's almost like they have 400 songs in their 200 slots. And so 200 slots. So that's one advantage of selling 45s. And so when you have a 45 that has 2 good songs on it, you can actually put it up for a lot more money.
So I was watching one of your videos the other day, and you sold a Dwight Yoakam record, and you said, "Did you say you don't like Dwight Yoakam? How do you not like Dwight Yoakam?"
I saw him live too. I don't know. He's one of
you don't like honky tonk country, or you just don't like Dwight Yoakam's stuff.
I think it's the honky tonk.
Like if I was in a bar and Dwight Yoakam's music came on, I think I could put on a cowboy hat. Be like, yes.
Well, he's got that weird yodel cracking voice, and I don't
like it. It's just so unusual. Like I don't drive around just rocking out the Dwight Yoakam all the time, but when it comes on, I'm like, yeah, it's a good one.
I get it. A lot of people like it. I usually like the unusual voice, but for some reason, I'm not. I mean, it's just not.
Well, it's kind of like Nickelback. I think I'm going to have to go down a Dwight Yoakam rabbit hole today and listen to everything he ever made. Plans are changing, people. We're not doing anything Saturday. It's a Dwight Yoakam day.
Nickelback's greatest hits. 3 songs.
And go. Deep tracks.
Photograph.
Deep tracks only. That's all of them. They're all the same. You remember that? Was it The Office when Andy went roller skating and he was like, play some Blues Traveler, and he was the only one in there, and he's like, deep tracks only, and the guy played like his number 1 hit, and he's like, okay, and he skates off.
I love Dwight. Me too.
No, it was Andy, not Dwight.
I had a Schrute Farms Beats shirt. I was at a concert one time, and I had people yelling at me from like 50 feet away. Hey, hey. I was like looking behind me. They're like, we love your shirt. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even forgot I had it on. I should sell that thing. I could probably get some good money now.
I'll buy it from you. Size is it a medium?
You know,
small? You wear a small?
No. There's been times where I did wear a small. A year and a half ago.
Guess I could rip the sleeves open. Probably wear it.
You could do that just by flexing because you're so strong.
It cut a big line up the front middle so it could open up.
I just about spit coffee all over Bo down there.
Got like 4 lines, sides, back, middle. Put it on. Be like a little umbrella hanging off my shoulders.
Cut slits. Oh, like in those high slit dresses, except it's your shirt, your belly button showing. Dude, we can see your belly button.
My belly button pierced, so I'm going to do that.
Do you have a stomach tattoo? That's right.
Go down to Keela. It's a medium, but it smells like cougars and martinis from Cheddar's.
Oh, that's funny.
That's so funny. Anthony's always pulling the cougars.
Yeah, that's true.
Did I tell you about the girl I sat next to on the plane? Did I tell you that story?
I think she was hitting on you or something. No.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was hitting on Sabrina or something.
Yeah. He's like, we walked in and he's like, you can sit here. And she sat down. I was like, and there was only like single seats left everywhere. But on the way back, I sat down, or we sat apart again, and I sat down, and there was 2 ladies next to me, and they were just talking like crazy. And I thought they were together, and they were saying something, and I like answered their question because it was like annoying me. They were like, I wonder what this is. And they were just, and I don't remember what it was. And I answered it. And she's like, oh, what's your name? And it was actually super weird. And she was like, she started taking out like what do you call them, essential oils, and rubbing them all over her body and going through her hair with them like this. Like, yeah, I'm a massage therapist. And she goes, oh, so tired. She goes, your shoulder looks pretty good. Mind if you take a little nap? I was like, yeah, that's not gonna, no, don't do that. She's like, why? I was like, I don't think my girlfriend wants you to sleep on my shoulder right now.
I don't want to not move for freaking out.
Where's she at? And I was like, over there. She was kind of looking like this. And she literally talked to me the whole way. It was super funny. It was actually, and she was teasing me because she was like, you were smiling the whole time. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of funny.
How ridiculous this is.
She was putting her legs straight up on the seat in the air, like in stretching. like because she was like does yoga and all this stuff.
That shoulder sure does look good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's happened to me, you know, maybe what, 2 times my whole life. So not bragging, but it was pretty funny. It felt good.
Yeah, even guys like a little attention.
Yeah. She was, she's put rubbing essential oils all over it, and she was like doing like some kind of like weird, like a what do you call it? Like a Eastern prayer type stuff when we were taking off. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, why?" And I was like, "Well,
You're like,
I don't know what you're
ringing
doing."
bells together.
Yeah, and she was sitting like doing the thing like this with her finger, whatever it is they do with their fingers, and and then she takes out a whole handful of pills. She takes a whole handful of pills.
Put essential oils on her face and her hair.
Yeah, she was. I was like, "That actually smells pretty good. What is that?" And she was like, "It's I don't remember what it was. It was
Probably a mix of something. Yeah.
yeah, it was like a mix of like eucalyptus and some other stuff like tea tree oil and something else. I don't remember. It actually smelled good, but I was just thinking, this is a new one for the books. I need to go write that down in my my journal thing because that was a good one.
That's a bit you can come back on.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Did you go to that comedy show last night?
No, it's tonight.
Oh, cool.
Oh, and the one last thing about that story, we're flying in, so it was her on my right and another older lady by the window, and she's sitting there looking out the window, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, the Kansas City Lights! Isn't that cool? It's like that song." And I was like, and she goes, "What song?" She goes, "You know the song Kansas City Lights," and she's like, "I don't know that song," and I'm just sitting there. We're on the runway. They haven't even turned on the thing that like you can use your phones yet. She turns on her phone. She looks it up on YouTube and pulls up the song and starts blasting it. And they both start singing the song. Everybody's like, "What in the actual going on?
What are you doing?
Like, is she with you, dude?" I'm like, "Nah."
I don't know her.
You don't know
She's
her?
not my girlfriend.
Yeah, we're not together.
I think I know that lady.
Yeah. My wife. She told me you were hitting on her and wanting to do yoga.
Mom. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good if you know, she was listening right now. You were supposed to call me.
And then was it like some guy hitting on your girlfriend?
Yeah, she well, it was funny because she kept giving me crap about it, and I was like, I wasn't really flirting with her back. I was just sitting there, and she was like, "Yeah, I know," and she was kind of teasing me about it, and she kept saying something, and I was like, "Can we acknowledge the fact that when we were flying to Chicago, when we got on the plane, that guy asked you to sit next to him, and you just sat down?" She started laughing, and she goes, "I didn't know you noticed that," and I was like, "Yeah, like." I don't care, but I did notice because we were walking on and she was in front of me, and we flew Southwest. So it was like single seats everywhere because we were like one of the last ones to get on, and like in the second row. And this guy's like, "Hey, you looking for a seat? Got one right here," you know? And she was like, "Okay." And she sat down, and then it was funny because I ended up sitting in the row right in front of her. And there was a lady to my right that was completely freaking out. And she was like, trying to figure it because there was nowhere to put like a bag in front of you because it was the very front row, and I had just a little cinch bag, so I stuck it under my seat and kind of just hid it. And she had like a backpack, and she was like standing up and walking around and like, "Oh, I don't know where to put this," and everybody was like, "Sit down," and she's sort of like, "Man, you need to sit down." She's like, "Well, I don't know where to put this bag," and like all the things were full. And Serena's like, "I'll trade with you," and so she ended up swapping with this chick. So the guy that asked her to sit by him ended up with that
crazy lady.
Yeah.
Backfire.
He was probably like, "Thank you."
Dang it. This hot girl sitting down, and now I have to have this lady.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Chat, are you still there?
Hello? Hello?
Chat?
Hey, Sonny. How's it going? I haven't seen Harry today. He usually pops in for a second.
The
Humstoners. He came on last night for a little while.
Humstone. What do we got going on tonight for lives? Is Harry coming on tonight?
I'm not sure. He didn't say. All I know is Tom Cruise doing vinyl. This is every other Saturday. It's this Saturday, and then Gary goes live tonight.
Thomas Bernard show on tonight with guests.
Should be. They're usually on. But I know that Tracy's moving and all that, so it's probably hard.
Tracy, are you working tonight on the show, or are you moving?
We have to know. Hey. I was gonna say, shoot. I'm excited. Next week I can start running again. Freaking be outside. My dogs won't be cooped up inside like all winter. It'll be freaking nice. I think I am getting old enough. I just want to move to Texas. So I'd rather it be hot all year than cold, stuck inside.
You know they have scorpions, right?
Yeah, we have scorpions here in Springfield.
You do? Really?
Yep. That's why I stopped cleaning out gutters.
Stop cleaning your house?
They go up in gutters and hang out.
God.
I got a copperhead once, like this far from my face.
Oh my God.
I remember because it was shiny, and I'm like, "What's that shiny thing?" And all of a sudden, I realized what it was, and it started going at me. Because it was, it has the triangle head and everything, and I just blew it with I just had my blower there, and I just blew it as hard as I could, and it freaking threw it out on the ground. And when it was on the ground, it was sitting there going like this at every leaf that was moving. It's like, ugh, jeez. And I don't
weird.
care
Like,
about snakes.
You know about stuff like this, but when any kind of animal or thing is literally trying to attack you, it's a really weird feeling. You just kind of panic. I know I do. Everyone's like, "Are you scared of bees?" They're trying to drill a hole in my skin. It hurts really bad. I don't want to just sit here. Like, I'm going to take off running. I don't care. Like, my arm's going to be all swollen up and hurt for like a week.
I don't care what you think about me. I don't want to hurt.
It's just a wasp. It's going to sting me like 8 times before, like, I'm scared of it. Like, I don't even like getting a shot. Like, I can do it. Like, I can handle it, but I don't really want one.
Yeah.
Especially like a wild animal trying to drill a hole in my elbow. Like, I don't want that at all.
Right.
Especially a snake too. They're so disgusting. You ever see those videos where those snakes have like bitten a guy and it won't let go, and it's just like keeps clamping down on their leg and they're like can't move?
Yeah. My favorite video, I think the only thing I watched on YouTube for about 5 years was the video where the rattlesnake that tries to eat the rabbit, and the rabbit goes around and starts biting its tail, and the rabbit chases the snake up a tree. It was one of it's the funniest. It's literally the funniest video I've ever seen. I've watched that so many times.
Wow.
It actually because the tree is like 4 foot before it can get into the limbs. It gets itself up like this so it could pull itself up to get out of the way, and that rabbit's just biting the crap out of it. It's hilarious because it's so fast. It just jumps back every time the snake comes at it. It's just like every time it's almost like laughing at it. And it just goes around and starts biting it from behind.
What's she talking about? Key Lime says you got to watch out for armadillos.
Armadillos. I didn't know we've got a lot of them up here.
Because talking about when you hit them with your car, they damage your car. I don't know.
I know they're nasty. They dig themselves down in burrows.
I know when I was driving over the road, anywhere I'd go south, there's just dead armadillos everywhere on the highway. It's disgusting.
Yep. I think it's one of those animals when they see them, like, I don't care if I kill those. You know?
Like a raccoon.
Remember when George Bush was president and they went to his ranch or whatever, and he's like digging out an armadillo that had dug in, and he was like pulling it out. He was going to kill it. And they're like, PETA came after him and all this stuff because he was treating animals bad. I'm like, it's an armadillo. It's disgusting.
Ew, she says they carry the bacteria that causes leprosy.
Oh my God.
Good Lord.
Well, I'm glad I know that. I'm never going to freaking get close to one of those again.
I'm moving to Canada.
Yeah.
You know what? No, wait. I'm moving to Minnesota, just north. No bugs, less weird things that want to hurt me, like scorpions and weird snakes.
Oh my God. I can't imagine. It's like leprosy outbreak. How?
How'd you get that? Armadillo jumped on me and bit my neck.
I laid down with an armadillo because I felt bad when it was dying, I guess. You've done that.
I took it
nice
home and tried to
person.
save it. Gave my
I
whole,
have empathy.
I was going to save it. I brought it home and put it in a little bassinet like a baby. My whole family has leprosy.
I wrapped it in swaddling clothes.
Oh my
I
God.
bet it's a fun read. I mean, I can't.
Weren't we talking about possums one time on the show?
I think you talked about stuffed rats you found that were sold on eBay.
Yeah, I did. I don't remember why I got to that though, but I remember after I looked at it because I was like,
you looked it up on accident or something one time, and then eBay kept like sending
yeah, all the ads on my phone
advertising.
had
Hey,
dead.
we got another stuffed rat up on eBay if you're interested.
When I was looking at the weather app and it had the ad for eBay for dead stuffed, like what do you call that? Taxidermied rat.
Yeah, taxidermied rats.
Who was buying that? Like,
yeah.
I mean, somebody's obviously buying that if it's selling, if it's even on there.
Isn't it weird when you like see people from other countries and they have like a pet rat that's like climbing around on their back and stuff like it's a parakeet? I'm like,
yeah,
what?
You know what would look good on this shelf? Taxidermied rat.
Girls love my rat.
Chicks dig animals. I have all these scorpions and rats in my house.
Little tanks of leprosy.
You almost can't kill them, but they'll kill you.
They have kind of long legs. They probably run pretty fast. I've always seen them dead on the road.
Armadillos have long legs. What are you talking about?
I mean, for being like a short, squatty thing.
They look like a wiener dog with a shell over their top.
Well, I'm just thinking like the difference between like a turtle and armadillo.
It's like a wiener dog put on a medieval helmet running across the road, full of their tail sticking out.
It's like it was Mad Max's mascot.
It's like, what? Would you say?
Mad Max's mascot?
Oh, yeah.
True. Who buys? I don't understand people that buy freaking shoes that are $100. I don't get that.
And shrunken heads. It's not from this country. It's not like it's a real person. They shrunk the head.
You've never practiced any witchcraft?
My friend has a taxidermy squirrel that's giving you the finger. That's fine.
That's pretty good. Squirrels are nasty. Oh my god.
Do you remember I was just talking to my parents about this last week. Oh, did you ever go to my house, the A-frame house that I lived in when I was a kid?
Yeah, but I don't remember it.
So it was my bedroom was a loft upstairs, and it had an open air on one side, and you could look down into the living room. And there was a big bay window up in the top of the point that the light would shine into my bedroom. But above that was a giant taxidermied moose head that was like huge, with a huge rack of antlers, or whatever you call them on a moose. I don't know. Is that what they're called? Antlers?
Yeah, I think so.
It sounded dumb. Anyway, and then there was these big globe lights that hung down from the point of the ceiling. And when the night light would shine up on those, it looked like a giant spider on the ceiling because it would be these lines.
Right.
And the first time Bryce spent the night with me, he was freaking out. I think my dad had to take him home because my dad had 2 deer on each side and the moose, and then there was like turkeys. My dad has hunted all the time back then. That was his thing at the time.
I was say I don't remember your dad being a hunter. That's interesting.
Yeah. When I was a kid, my dad would hunt all the time. They would have guys come over with like 4-wheelers, and they would go hunt coyotes, and like he was real big into turkey hunting.
Weird. Your dad is so funny.
He would fish. He would fish with a bow. He had a like a harpoon thing on a bow with a wire. You could shoot fish.
He's always like one step ahead of everybody.
He made his own shotgun shells. He like loaded his own shells and did all because it was cheaper.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make my own gun. I'm kind of bored with this one.
Yeah,
your dad is hilarious. He's like that Doc from Back to the Future. Like, what are you working on today? Yeah, building tractors. Huh?
That reminds me. Did you see 1,000 Ways to Die in the West? Did I send you the trailer for that? You didn't watch it. it's a comedy, and in part of it, they're in the Wild West, and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he's running from somebody, and he hears this buzzing, and he turns and looks, and he sees an old shed, and there's like light coming out of it, and he wanders over and he opens the door. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing in here?" And it's Doc, and he covers up the DeLorean, and he goes, "Oh, just working on a weather project." And he goes, "Oh, okay," and he just leaves. It's like part of the. It's like a 2-minute scene in the show. It's so funny, but it's the actual scene from like Back to the Future when that guy or whatever, that lady. Oh no, the lady opens the door when he's in the western part. I'm like, "What are you working on?" Weather project.
That's funny. Oh my.
A tweaker did $4,000 of damage to my truck when he sawed my exhaust system off last week. So,
now, isn't that racist to tweakers? How do you know he was a tweaker, huh, Jason?
I hope he was.
It made me feel better if he really was.
Yeah, if I found out it was just a normal person, I'd be like, "Dude, what? Really?
What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot of bow fishing down here in Lake of the Ozarks. It's kind of a new thing last 10 years. Your dad's just always. It's so weird. I've known him so well, and to not even know that he used to be a big hunter. That's just weird.
Yeah, it was huge. Actually, the whole basement was full of like guns and like all kinds of.
He reinvented him. He always reinvented himself like every 7 years. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be a painter now.
Think about this though. There was a time when my dad was a traveling salesman for General Electric, and then he started a farm where they had like 180 acres, 200 head of cows. He built a barn to milk the cows. They milked, bottled, and delivered the milk to the stores. And like we grew everything on the farm for ourselves. I mean, my dad went like full Amish, and he was like a traveling salesman, and he used to live in Houston before that. I mean, it's like the movie The Village. We just like moved out on the farm and just started living off the land.
Right.
And I remember back then my parents would wake me up in the morning and they'd have like fresh made biscuits and gravy, and like everything was made homemade and from animals we had harvested there on the farm. And I was like, I just want to sleep. Now to have a meal like that, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like everything homemade from out of your own freezer from animals you raised.
That's just crazy. And then he sells the farm, becomes a salesman again.
Starts a whole nother business, yeah.
On the front cutting edge. And then he was, at that time, he was putting together Model Ts and taking them apart and putting them together again.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? Like
after he was building his own airplane.
I'd say he was had that Mooney. He was going up an airplane all the time. Your dad is one of the most interesting people I've ever met, and that's for sure.
Yes, definitely is.
Like, what haven't you done? It's going to take me a minute.
Think about my mom too, because my mom supported him through all of those adventures and stuff that he did, and she was just like right there, like, well, you know, your dad's. Do you remember when he started brewing making his own wine, and he built a whole like winery in his basement, and he had a database in those big glass jars with it dripping, and he had a database and a computer down there tracking how long they had been like seeping or whatever you call it. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, he started.
In Marceline?
There was a point where he was like, he started drinking wine, and he was like, because he used to drink beer, and then he quit drinking beer forever. And he was like, he kind of started drinking wine again. He's like, I think I really like wine. You know, it's pretty good. He's like, it's expensive though. So then I came home, and he was like, yeah, I'm making my own now. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. Like he bought a kit to do something, you know, and then he completely like reinvented it all and made it his own and like built all this crap, and he had a computer in there with a database in there and they were all labeled and they were all dripping. Yeah.
The floral in this is very unique. What? Weren't you just a farmer building Model Ts yesterday? Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a point where he was just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to start painting.
Yeah. Then he's like painting so well, they putting it in galleries in Kansas City. Like,
yeah, I genuinely, Kyle asked my dad's name. It's Daryl. Probably knows him. I don't know.
Probably everybody knows.
Yeah. He was, I mean, there was a point when I thought like my dad's hobbies were kind of annoying in a way, because I was like, oh my God, like he would do stuff like that. But looking back, it's so interesting and kind of unusual now, you know?
Yep.
You remember the time he was like, I think I want a cuckoo clock. And then he went and he found a guy that had a cuckoo clock for sale, and he came back with like 50 cuckoo clocks. And he started working on cuckoo clocks, and they were all hanging in the basement on those boards.
All working all at once.
They're all amazing. Like, well, yeah. Me and my brother laugh about it because my dad's so ridiculous about some of his hobbies and interests. But looking back, it's actually really interesting.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like being a hunter, not that surprising, but to be a hunter and then a painter, you know what I mean? Like completely different. Most hunters don't do those things too. You know what I mean? He never looked at it.
Like, it's all over.
Tried anything.
It's all over the place. It's like when he went from being like a traveling salesman to like building a farm. Like,
because didn't he? Before you were born, he was like in school for like computers. When computers
he lived in Chicago, and he was going to DeVry Tech studying the microchip.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, my dad was working on solar panels on buildings all over the country, and that was the early 80s, late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the cutting edge too, and then he just decided to be a preacher the rest of his life. But my dad was very similar to how your dad was too. I mean, if he would have kept going, he probably would have been the same as your dad.
My dad actually way overcomplicates things, just because I think I don't know if it's a control thing or if he likes the process. So like for example, when he made his business, you know, instead of just like buying a database program to like manage all the info, he like built it all. Like he bought one that you could actually use templates, or you could just build all the database stuff inside the software. And he did that. Like, and it was incredible, but it was really complicated to learn how to use. I mean, it was like you could print all these reports and stuff about the customers he had, and it was like you could go in and make selections. I mean, it was like using eBay or something. This software, it had all this stuff you had to learn how to use.
Yeah. Do you know they did those commercials with computers?
He still says that.
We used to laugh about that because at the time it was true.
The computer. The one thing he said that I always thought was never going to happen, and it did, is he was like, you know, one of these days your refrigerator is going to be a computer and it's going to order your food for you. And I was like, no, it's not. Yeah, it is. They have that.
Yeah. Yep. Very, very interesting guy.
For sure.
Thank God we had some good fathers. I mean,
yeah,
we're lucky. So many people out there that had terrible. You know,
I went through a phase where I remember thinking my dad was like gone a lot. And like, I was kind of like, my dad was gone a lot. And it was I hated it when he was gone. And I remember thinking I was going through some kind of like a class at a church thing or something, and I remember writing down that it bothered me that my dad was gone a lot, and that I had followed in his footsteps, and I basically did the same thing. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I just tore up the paper and threw it away, and I was like, dude, my dad's dad left him when he was born. He didn't even have a dad. For growing up with no dad, my dad was like amazing. And he actually was amazing. I mean, when he was around, he was super cool and did stuff with me. He worked a lot, and which was good because he worked hard to provide. But
when you think about yourself, do you work less or more than your dad?
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Probably same, if not more.
Probably comparable. Yeah.
Being gone. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. Kind of, you start learning those things over time, and start being more grateful for things that you. Yeah.
Sucks too, because he's moving away in 2 weeks, so he's moving to Dallas.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird to think about. They've been there. Like my parents have been there since, you know, I was a kid, and now it's like that. When they came over and visited me last week when they were leaving, it was weird because I knew they wouldn't be here at my place again. I'd have to go visit them in Dallas. So.
Yeah. Well, it's so weird to think about not being able to go back to Marceline. What would you go back there for?
Yeah, I mean, unless we had a class reunion, and I don't know if we ever will again because of COVID. Speaking of that, isn't it weird that because I sent you that picture, I think you posted too. Everybody went from being a infectious disease expert on Facebook to now, what is it, international relations? It's like we've been dealing with COVID for what 2 or 3 years now, or 2 years, and now everyone's just I haven't heard anybody even bring it up.
Well, it's like 3 years ago, everybody's talking about how corrupt Ukraine's the most corrupt country ever, and now they're like, but we love the Ukrainians. Like, you were saying they were the most corrupt people 3 years ago, and now you're like,
no, I haven't followed it. I haven't followed it enough to really comment much on it. I just know that.
Well, I just think it's funny. Everybody flips what they said two years ago just because of what's trending now. I think it's funny.
Well, like I always say, Facebook is the 20th century Wailing Wall, or the 21st century Wailing Wall. It's like where everybody goes to.
Yeah, it's like when I told my uncle that the only people on Facebook are old white dudes. He was like,
it's like, wait a second, I'm an old white dude.
I'm like, when's the last time you seen a bunch of kids posting stuff on Facebook? He's like, well, it's true. I'm like, yeah, it's only a bunch of white old people that do it.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's just like a peeping Tom. It really is what it is. You just keep it. It's like I remember when I was a kid, our neighbor would have binoculars out, literally looking in our windows with their binoculars from her window. And everybody did that stuff to your neighbors. And now you don't have to do that. You just got Facebook, and they're going to tell you what they're doing.
I also feel like if everybody just had Reddit, you wouldn't need any other social media.
Yeah, I actually like Reddit, but you start reading them and you're like, half this stuff is either at least 50% a lie or complete lie. So there's no.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff on Reddit you can look at. Like, you could sit there all day on Reddit and just dive into it.
I like the Reddit on YouTube when they read Reddit things on YouTube. That's
a good idea.
Really funny. It's really good for videos. I mean, you can get a lot of videos just reading comments from Reddit.
I actually did that in some of our older. Didn't I do that in some of our first videos?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I had one I wanted to read that was funny that I just looked up that I sent to Matt, but I can't read it. It's too
much.
So funny. I'm going to send it to you. Do you still have the app? Can you actually look at it? You still have the app?
Usually I just go to Chrome and I go into it. I don't have the app. I need to download it anyway. So go ahead and send it to me.
I'm going to send this to you. Just look at the comments, or I mean, obviously read what it is, but
yeah. Well, and I think the whole TikTok thing, it's training people to think that way, and I think a lot of people are, especially the younger generation.
Yeah,
and I think that's why promotions are working so good on eBay, because people don't want to. They just want to go in there and get out as fast as possible. But even if they want something, you know what I mean? And so they're just going to buy the first thing they see, whatever you give me, and then I'm out. And
I think TikTok has changed everything. I mean, even look at you. You won't even sit down and watch a movie now, but you'll watch something that's 2 minutes that I send you. Yep. And my kids are the same way. They'll sit and look at TikTok for an hour. But if you wanted them to sit down and watch one movie for an hour, they'd be like, "Oh no, I can't do that."
Yeah, I mean, I was like a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking about going to watch a movie because I wanted to see Ghostbusters, because everybody watched it that used to like Ghostbusters. Are like, it's awesome. It's a perfect sequel. And every time I think about it, I'm like, I can't go spend 2 hours sitting watching a movie, not being able to do anything else. I'm like, because I'm so used to consolidating and listing while I watch YouTube or whatever. So like, it just seems like such a waste of time. 2 hours, I could put up 50 listings. Why would I do that? It's just funny how everything changes.
Scroll your comment down. You've been on that one for like an hour. Get with it.
Well, let's go with that one then.
I like it.
Well, it's been an hour, so
that went fast. My gosh, can you believe it's only been 3 hours? I'm gonna go eat some meat.
Isn't it crazy how that happens, Jason?
Yes, that's so weird.
This was my favorite video that I've ever done.
Yeah, today we have an amazing guest, you guys.
That was the best comment that's ever happened on my show.
I don't read comments,
and I will never say that again.
When you get 28,000 comments every time I post anything, it's just a cesspool in there. I don't read it. I have other people that read them for me. Whatever.
I should probably do that myself.
Nice chatting with you too, Kyle.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Kyle. Thanks for everybody that came in and joined us for a minute, and hope everybody enjoyed the morning onion.
Next weekend, I think I might be up for Friday night instead of Saturday because I might work Saturday morning.
Cool. Yeah, look for us on a Friday night. Come up. I'll coordinate it with Harry, see if he's coming on. We'll just go on after or before him.
Mm-hmm.
He usually only goes on for an hour. I think he went on last night from like 6:30 to 7:30, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Get my day started.
I haven't even had breakfast yet.
Did you have coffee? Oh yeah, you were drinking coffee.
I had coffee. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't tell if I feel really good or really faint right now. I'm feeling pretty light, whatever.
When you stand up, you fall down, you'll know.
I haven't had any eggs.
I love eggs.
I need an omelet.
Hayden's feeding you on the floor.
Yeah. Pouring protein shake in my mouth.
Oatmeal.
Coming back to life. Oh my God.
All right. Well, later.
Later, dude. See you guys. Have a good Saturday. Thanks for joining.